Apprenticeship. Learning to love, serve, and be like Jesus with Rebecca and Douglas Pereira.
Hello, and welcome to The Apprenticeship. I'm Christopher Pereira, and I'm an apprentice of Jesus. I'm learning from my parents, Rebecca and Douglas Pereira, how to love, serve, and be like Jesus. As an apprentice of Jesus, I follow the Apprentice's Creed. It says, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Love others as well as you love yourself. God has given each of us a life story. He knows every chapter. He knows the meaning and purpose of our life. And He wants to help us understand our stories. In this episode, Rebecca and Douglas will share more about how we can understand our life story through God's eyes. Don't forget this study guide for this episode. It's designed to help you review the content and apply it to your life. You can grab a copy from our website or by scanning the QR code. We hope you'll be blessed by this episode of The Apprenticeship.
In His footsteps.
We're walking in Jesus' footsteps through the Gospel of Luke. We want to understand His character and mission and draw closer to Him.
Our passage today is found in Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. So far, Jesus has been teaching, preaching, and healing on His own. Luke has not told us yet about any disciples, but today's story is about to change that.
Let's have our friend Laura Lapointe read us this week's memory verse.
His partners James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were also amazed. Jesus replied to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you'll be fishing for people." And as soon as they landed, they left everything and followed Jesus.
Our story opens with Jesus teaching by the Sea of Galilee. The people crowded near to hear Him. When the crowd became too large, Jesus stepped into Simon Peter's boat and asked him to push off a little way. There are many inlets on the Sea of Galilee that are like natural amphitheaters. From the boat, Jesus' voice carried well to the crowds on the shore.
After time, Jesus turned to Peter, "Go into deep water and cast your nets." Peter had just spent the entire night fishing without catching a single fish. It was unusual to fish during the day. The fishermen knew that the fish would not come during the day. But that was precisely what Jesus told Peter to do. Peter told Jesus that they had worked all night without catching a fish. It is like a gentle reminder that Peter is the professional, a fisherman, and he knows what he's doing.
But Peter doesn't leave it at that. We have to give him credit. He said, "Because you say so, we'll go." Because Jesus told him to do something, even though it didn't make sense, he obeyed. And what was the result? Peter and his partners, James and John, were overwhelmed with fish. The nets were breaking. The boats were near sinking. Peter fell to his knees before Jesus and called Him Lord. That word gives us a glimpse into Peter's heart. At that moment, he knew Jesus was divine.
Jesus' divine presence caused Peter to feel his sinfulness. He felt unworthy to be near Jesus. Peter's response is similar to the prophet Isaiah's. He envisioned Isaiah was in God's throne room. Seeing God, Isaiah fell down and said, "It's all over. I'm doomed, for I am a sinful man, and I have filthy lips, and I live among a people with filthy lips. Yet I have seen the King, the Lord of heaven's armies."
But how did Jesus respond to Peter? Did He say, "That's right, Peter, you're a sinner and don't you forget it. It's high time we got our act together"?
No, Jesus said nothing like that. He said, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will be fishing for people." Jesus responded with a comfort, and he gave Peter a new calling. You were a fisherman, Peter, a sinner, but now you are my partner in kingdom work. You are going to catch something far more valuable than fish. Your purpose is much higher than you expected.
Wow. Jesus, the sinless one, stands above a sinner and says, get up, follow me, be my partner. We're going to do great things together. He says the same things of each of us. How do we respond? Let's return to our story. How did Peter and the others respond?
They left everything and followed Jesus. They left their catch of a lifetime. They left their security and stability. They followed Jesus wherever he went, and they walked with him. They learned to place their security, stability, and purpose in Jesus' care.
Jesus was no longer flying solo. Now, he had followers to help him in his mission of spreading the message of God's kingdom to more people.
This story tells us about a real and intimate encounter between Jesus and a person. Peter was undone by his realization of his sinfulness. But Jesus, rather than condemning, called Peter to a new identity and purpose, to be his follower and fish for people.
That's too wonderful for words. Jesus knows what we are. He knows who we are, and he knows who we can become. He calls us to follow him. That way, he can transform us from sinners to who he made us to be, his kingdom people.
Jesus calls us to follow him so we can do what he created us to do, to be his partners in kingdom work. That partnership is unique to each of us.
Peter and the others show us that this journey with Jesus begins with surrender. Peter obeyed Jesus' instructions to go out again, even though Peter thought it was useless. Except it turned out to bring abundance. Faced with Jesus' divinity and personal call, Peter surrendered to Jesus and followed him. And guess what? I have something to illustrate this.
What do you have, Rebecca, for today?
So our story today is all about fishing. So I brought a fishing net.
Oh, are you fishing with that?
You're going to see. Have you ever worked really hard at something and got nothing for it? Peter and his friends fished all night and caught nothing, even though they were expert fishermen. But they obeyed Jesus' instructions to go out again. Contrary to their expectation, they caught so many fish, the nets began to break. Sometimes, even when we think we know best, Jesus asks us to trust him and try again his way. When we obey, when we surrender to him, even when it doesn't make sense, he can do more than we can ever imagine.
You know, the apprenticeship and its resources wouldn't be possible without Agents of Hope. You may be wondering, who are Agents of Hope? Well, they're people who are committed to sharing our hope in Jesus. They believe in the vision of Hope Channel Canada and support this ministry. Through their support, Agents of Hope make programming like the apprenticeship possible. Their support means uplifting content can reach Canadians wherever they are. Would you like to help us? You can become an Agent of Hope too. You can visit the website or scan the QR code. Together, we can share with Canada that there's more to life, and it's found in Jesus.
In his workshop.
We're continuing our look at life as a story. Your life is a God-given story. You're not here by accident. Your life is also a God-led story. Like all good stories, yours is going somewhere. It has meaning because you have a God-given purpose.
We have been leaning on Dr. J. Robert Clinton's the making of a leader to help us better understand our life stories and how God has moved in them. So far, we have looked at the opening chapters called Sovereign Foundations and Inner Life Growth. We have looked at the middle part of our story called Ministry Maturing and Life Maturing. Now we are moving toward the climax of our story.
And what is it called, Douglas?
It's called convergence. It usually happens in your late 50s or 60s and beyond. It is when who you are and what you do converge into unique contribution to God's kingdom, your God-given life purpose.
The main idea of convergence is that all you have, your experiences, education, failures, learning, it all comes together. You serve by being you, as God created you to be, rather than serve by doing things, by staying busy, or chasing the wrong things.
What does that mean? It means that your purpose and influence are no longer tied to your position, projects, or productivity. You may still have those, but they do not define your purpose.
Your main goal becomes investing in others. You begin to understand your life story from God's perspective. You clarify what you have to offer others from your own story, and you start sharing it with others.
You know, the Bible has many examples of people on their convergence chapter.
Would you mind sharing one with us? That would be wonderful.
Well, let's look at Paul. He was a new believer. Barnabas invested in him. Then Paul took off as a missionary. As he enters his convergence time, he encounters this young man, Timothy. Paul thought to himself, let me invest in Timothy. He placed Timothy over his beloved church in Ephesus. It is a real trust. Paul's last two letters are written to Timothy. Paul gives Timothy a roadmap. He wrote, you have heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now, teach this truth to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. Paul invested in Timothy, who in turn invested in trustworthy people, who would then pass on the investment to others. That is convergence. Investing what you have and know in others who build on it, and invest that in others, and on it goes.
So, Douglas, you haven't entered convergence yet, right? You're not that far in your story.
No, I'm not. But I can share how others in their convergence have influenced me. We have been drawing from the Dr. Clinton's work for this series. Well, in his convergence, Dr. Clinton was guided to choose a few people to invest in. One of them was Dr. Terry Wallen. Dr. Clinton greatly impacted Dr. Terry's life in many ways. He built on Dr. Clinton's work by bringing greater understanding to life transitions, especially the ones that move us from one chapter to the next. Well, Dr. Terry in his convergence also chose to invest in a few people. One of them was me. And he has been pouring into me all that he has learned from Dr. Clinton and all that he has learned from his own life story. They are building me up. My life story and my walk with God benefit from their mentorship. And I pray that someday God will use me to pass the torch on to others, the ones he shows me to invest in.
That is a great illustration, Douglas. While you're not in your convergence, you're able to see in action in others, and you're benefiting from others' convergence.
Yes, It is a blessing to see examples of what lies ahead. I do not know yet what my convergence will be like, but I have a glimpse. It will have something to do with being a spiritual friend to others and assisting them and becoming more like Jesus. I can see myself helping others discover their contribution and how God is shaping them. In the meantime, I'm developing my skills in mentorship, coaching, and discipleship so I can give my best to investment in others. It may continue to be through media. It may look like something else. I do not know, but I am open to God's leading. So even though I may have many opportunities, invitations for many things, I try to accept only those that align with what God is revealing to be my unique contribution to His kingdom.
Thinking of our life story like this gives it such a beautiful meaning and purpose. And it is very freeing. It frees us from drawing our value and purpose from what we accomplish, whether we've made it big or not. It puts the focus instead on who we are becoming, how God is using us for His kingdom, and who we pass that on to.
You got it, Rebecca. You got it. That's all exactly.
If you'd like a chance to think more about what we've covered, I encourage you to grab a copy of our study guide. You can find it on our website or by scanning the QR code. We have one more session together in the series on life as a story, and I can't wait to get into it. In the meantime, let's reflect on our key questions. What is God doing in my life? Do I have the courage to be a part of His work? Am I truly willing to join Him in His work of redemption in my life and all around me?
On the apprenticeship, we're all about learning. We're focusing on how to love, serve, and be like Jesus. But maybe there's more you'd like to know. Well, did you know that Hope Channel has a learning platform? It's called Hope Study. Hope Study offers courses that connect real life with faith. The studies answers questions like, does God exist? What is the purpose of life? Can I trust the Bible? What happens after death? Why is there suffering? Can I really change? Hope Study is a place to explore life's most profound questions with answers from a biblical perspective. I hope you take a look. You can visit our website or scan the QR code.
Jesus is the ultimate, daring, determined, and selfless rescuer. He put it all on the line for us. He held nothing back, but gave everything to save us, the ones He loves. And He asks us, would you do the same for the others I love? Jesus invites us to join His rescue efforts, to bring people back from the brink to the safety of His love and kingdom. But how do we do that? What does it take to be a rescue worker for God's kingdom? That is what Rescue Workers is all about.
The Rescue Worker.
Captain Anthony Harper, a firefighter in New York, was the first to go into action when he heard that multiple people were trapped in a house fire on Staten Island. After helping several people to safety, he heard there was still a baby inside. Without hesitation, he plunged back into the blazing home to save the baby.
Captain Harper found the baby on the bottle bunk bed in the basement. The room was filled with smoke and fire rage overhead. The only way for Captain Harper to return to safety was to go back through the house. But then he saw a small basement window.
With quick thinking, Captain Harper passed the baby through the window. Captain Harper willingly delayed his own safety to save the baby's life. Another firefighter who happened to be by the window was able to take the baby from Captain Harper's arms.
Thankfully, Captain Harper made it out of the fire alive. But it is remarkable that he was willing to risk his own life to save the babies.
It is. He was willing to embrace danger for others' welfare, to serve even to the point of self-sacrifice. It reminds me of how Jesus served others. He gave of himself continually until he gave himself completely, dying to save us all.
We are talking about our edification, how God transformed us to be more like Jesus. This transformation equips us to be His rescue workers, to work with Him in bringing others to His kingdom.
So far, we've looked at how God transforms our minds, characters, relationships, and habits. But in a self-serving and self-preserving world, our service also needs to be transformed. We need to serve as Jesus served. So how did Jesus serve?
That is the question, isn't it? We can get some clues from what Jesus said in the Gospel of Mark. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first among you must be the slave of everyone else. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus served with humility and self-sacrifice. For so many of us, serving is a means to something else. We serve others' needs so they will stop bothering us, or so people will think highly of us. We serve so we can control how things go. We serve so we can feel good about ourselves. But for Jesus, service was not a means, it was a way of being.
If we think about it, the Son of Man, God on earth, deserves to be served by his creation. But Jesus didn't come to us with a sense of entitlement. He did not expect or demand our service to him. Instead, he humbly served us. He took off his suit jacket, tied a towel around his waist, knelt down on the floor, and washed dirty feet. That kind of humility is hard to wrap our heads around. Jesus not only served humbly, he served self-sacrificially. He held nothing back. He didn't worry if it was convenient or if it would make him popular or help him climb the first century equivalent of the corporate ladder.
There were times when Jesus was criticized for putting others first. Some people slandered him because of his ministry. Jesus knew he risked that reaction in some people, but he served anyway. He was willing to sacrifice his comfort and reputation in the eyes of some. He was willing to sacrifice his own life.
So we're talking about our edification, about being more like Jesus. How can our service be transformed to be like Jesus? Can we even reach those levels of humility and self-sacrifice? Do we even want to?
I hear you. Jesus' service is so different from what we are used to. We are used to self-reliance, self-service, and self-preservation. The truth is, we cannot achieve our transformation on our own. We must let go our pride. We must let go our need for others' approval. We must let go our need to control our own lives. We need to be filled with Jesus' divine love. Only then can we truly put others first and serve like Jesus served.
But this isn't something we can do in our own power. We must surrender to God's process of transformation. We have to accept that it will take time and be patient with ourselves. It will also take cooperation. We have to be honest with ourselves and with God about what's in our hearts. Do we struggle with pride? Are we used to taking care of ourselves first because no one else will? Do we lack genuine compassion for others? We must own our true state and bring it to God. Then we ask Him to begin His transformative work in us.
That's so true, Rebecca. And as we ask for God to work in us, we surrender to what He does in us. We commit to following His lead wherever He takes us. We want Him to transform us to be more like Jesus. When we serve as Jesus serves, we show the world what God's kingdom is like.
As God created the world, He would step back to celebrate, to say that it was good, until it wasn't. What wasn't good? That man was alone. So God created a helper for him, a companion. It was the first marriage and the first community. It is not good for us to be alone. We were created to be in community, to support each other, to learn from each other, and to spur each other on to truth, love, and godliness. So, why not start an apprentice community? An apprentice community is a small group of people who are dedicated to being Jesus' apprentices, to creating a community of grace, trust, and support. Each episode of the apprenticeship has a study guide designed for small groups. They can be found on the website or by scanning the QR code for each episode. Through group activities and discussions, the study guides review concepts and give practical applications for real life. They would give meaningful purpose and direction to any small group. So, why not start an apprentice community today?
In 2 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul writes, "Love is patient and kind. Love rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance." Paul's description of love is also a description of God, because God is love. We hope this episode has helped you to see God as He truly is, the God who made you and loves you. He wants to help you become your best self and live a life with meaning and purpose. Don't forget the study guide for this episode. You can find it on our website or by scanning the QR code. We can't wait to see you next time on The Apprenticeship.